Welcome, brave souls, to Silent Scream, where your darkest fears come alive. Tonight, we delve into a tale of terror in the heart of the Pacific Northwest. Three friends ventured into the deep wilderness for a once in a lifetime adventure, only to come face to face with a living legend. Brace yourselves for the horrifying story titled Bigfoot is Real, and We Barely Survived.
I've been struggling to share this. Honestly, part of me thinks that if I write it down, it'll make it all too real. But the nightmares aren't stopping, and I can't shake the feeling that anyone needs to hear this. Maybe it'll help, or maybe it'll be a warning. This happened last summer. It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime, a chance to disconnect from the world, to escape the noise and chaos of daily life. Me, my best friend Mike, and my girlfriend Lottie, we were heading into the heart of the Pacific Northwest. Deep wilderness, miles from anyone or anything. I thought it would be fun, peaceful even. I was wrong. We left early on a Friday morning, backpacks stuffed with gear, plenty of food, and a map that promised untouched trails. Lottie was the most excited out of the three of us. She grew up hiking with her dad and knew how to navigate better than either of us. Mike joked the whole way there, calling her our fearless leader. She just laughed, saying, "You'll thank me when we don't get lost." The first 2 days were perfect. We hiked through towering forests, past rivers so clear you could see every pebble on the bottom. The air smelled like pine, fresh and clean. At night, we camped under the stars, the fire crackling as we shared stories and roasted marshmallows. It felt safe, perfect. But that was before we heard the screams. It was our second night in the woods. The fire was dying down, and we were all getting ready to crawl into our tents. Mike was already half asleep in his, and Lottie and I were sitting by the fire watching the embers glow. Then, out of nowhere, there was this sound. It wasn't an animal. I know what a coyote sounds like. I know what a bear sounds like. This was wrong. It started as a low growl, deep and guttural, like something massive was trying to clear its throat. Then it rose into this piercing scream, high-pitched, inhuman. It made my stomach twist and my skin crawl. Lottie froze. What was that? I didn't have an answer. Mike stumbled out of his tent, flashlight in hand. "What the hell was that noise?" he asked, his voice shaky. Before I could respond, it happened again, louder, closer. We grabbed our flashlights and shone them into the woods, but the beams barely cut through the dense trees. Everything looked like shadows. For a moment, I thought we were imagining it, just the forest playing tricks on us. But then, there they were, two glowing eyes, high off the ground, watching us from the tree line. "Is that a bear?" Mike whispered. Lottie shook her head. "Bears don't stand like that, and their eyes don't glow like that." The eyes didn't move, they just stared, unblinking. My chest tightened as I realized whatever it wasn't scared of us. It was studying us. Then it growled. We decided to keep the fire going all night. "Animals are afraid of fire," Lottie said, though I could tell she wasn't entirely convinced. We sat in a tight circle, knives in hand, jumping at every sound. The growls didn't stop. They circled us, echoing through the woods. Branches snapped. Footsteps, heavy footsteps, crunched on the forest floor. At one point, Lottie stood up, her flashlight cutting through the trees. "It's testing us," she said. "What do you mean, testing us?" Mike hissed. "It's seeing how we react, seeing if we're a threat or prey." Her words made my blood run cold. I thought it was over, that whatever it was had moved on. Then something slammed into Mike's tent, flattening it. He screamed, crawling out, his face pale with terror. "Run!" Lottie shouted. But before we could move, it stepped into the firelight. It was massive, 7, maybe 8 feet tall, covered in dark, matted fur. Its shoulders were impossibly broad, and its arms hung low, fingers ending in sharp claws. Its face, God, its face. It was like a twisted mix of human and ape, with deep-set eyes that burned red in the firelight. It let out a roar so loud I felt it in my chest. Lottie grabbed my arm. "Into the trees, now!" We ran. Branches tore at my clothes, my skin. The thing crashed through the forest behind us, its footsteps so heavy I could feel them vibrating through the ground. Lottie led the way, moving faster than seemed humanly possible. She didn't stop, didn't hesitate. "Don't look back," she yelled. But I did. It was closer than I thought, and it was fast, too fast. Mike stumbled, and the thing let out this horrible, guttural laugh, like it was enjoying this. Lottie spun around, grabbed Mike by the arm, and hauled him to his feet. "Move!" she screamed. We ran until we couldn't anymore. until our lungs burned and our legs felt like jelly. Just as the first light of dawn broke through the trees, we saw it. An old abandoned cabin, half hidden by moss and vines. Lottie didn't hesitate. Inside. Now, we slammed the door shut and barricaded it with anything we could find. An old table, a broken chair. It wasn't much, but it was all we had. The thing didn't leave. For hours, it circled the cabin, growling, clawing at the walls. At one point, it slammed into the door so hard the entire frame shook. Lottie gripped her knife, her knuckles white. "It's not going to stop," she said quietly. "It's waiting for us to slip up." That night, as the growls grew louder, Lottie made a decision. "We can't stay here," she said. "It'll break in eventually." "What are you saying?" Mike asked, his voice trembling. "I'm saying someone has to distract it. Lead it away." "No," I shouted. "You can't." She cut me off. "I'm the fastest. I can do it." Before we could stop her, she opened the door and ran. The thing roared, its footsteps crashing after her. I wanted to scream, to run after her, but Mike held me back. "She's giving us a chance," he said. We waited until the sounds faded, then made a run for it in the opposite direction. We found help 2 days later, a ranger station, miles away. When we told them what happened, they looked at us like we were crazy. We never found Lottie. I like to believe she made it, that she's out there somewhere. But deep down, I know the truth. If you're ever in the woods and you hear something that doesn't sound quite right, leave. Don't wait, don't look, just leave.
Thank you for joining us on this spine-chilling journey. Remember, when you hear strange sounds in the woods, heed this story of Lottie, Mike, and our storyteller. Some creatures are better left in the shadows of our nightmares. If you enjoyed this terrifying tale, please like, comment, and subscribe to Silent Scream for more stories that blur the line between myth and reality. And as always, sleep tight if you can.